Hello and welcome to the OverShadow ShadowCast. I'm Thomas Anderson and I'm joined today by tech wizard Abigail Mowat.
Hiya, why was there a slight pause between tech and wizard?
It's always
felt like it.
It's just the magic of this. Look at where we are today in the studio. It's just filled with magic, the potential.
And it's not as hot as it normally is, which is fantastic.
Yes, the air conditioning, also known as the wind and the clouds, is on maximum today. We can focus on game chat because there's no nice view today. First come first, as would make sense logically.
What? First come first.
No,
What?
first comes first. That's what we're starting with.
I
First.
thought you were trying to start with first come first serve.
This is mayhem. Right, we have no other guest today. The first
One day
time.
you won't have control over the editing,
One day I will lose my power.
but I will have it back once my laptop is working again.
Good. Sit in front of a laptop for 27 hours a day trying to get this stuff edited is not my idea of the good bit of this. Well, normally we start by asking the guests what they've been playing, but we have no guests. For the first time ever, it's just the two of us.
Well, the intro was just the two of us.
So, shut up. The guest was in the other room waiting for us to finish so they could come in. So you are continuing your roundup of Grand Theft Auto 3.
Yes. So I've made actually leaps and bounds in my progression of the game.
Excuse me.
The patronising is something else with you, isn't it?
That wasn't patronising, I was actually genuinely happy for you. Now I'm just upset.
Because I'm able to complete a lot more now in, say, an hour than I was originally. Because I think the original mission took me about 3 hours to complete because I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, because you got
apart from reenacting every stress dream I had while I was learning to drive. That's what GTA is. In one roundup, is your stress dreams when you're learning to drive.
Assuming that you had stress dreams while learning to drive.
Doesn't everybody?
Probably not. That was probably just you. But
Yeah.
But you've got to factor in the fact that you're not just learning how to play GTA 3. You're not just learning how to play a GTA game. You're learning how to play a game.
Yes. So there have been some funny moments, not so funny moments. Bad stuff first. Let's go with there was a mission which was driving me crazy, which is one of the 8-ball missions where you have to blow up a boat. You have to help him blow up a boat.
Is 8-ball a character
Yeah.
or is it? Oh, right,
I believe so. Yeah, I think the guy's called 8-ball. He kept saying 8-ball. And you have to position yourself on top of a roof with a sniper,
Sniper rifle.
Sniper rifle, yeah. And I am any time I ever played a video game before, I always use anything like that inverted controls, like saying like Harry Potter inverted controls when you're flying a broomstick. And that's just how my brain processes how up and down goes.
Well, that's slightly different because most human beings process up and down as inverted while you're flying. It's always inverted flight controls, but you're talking about inverted non-flight controls, and that's actually
with the
reticule when you're aiming down the scope.
Yeah, the scope.
That's different. I mean, maybe it's different for when you're aiming down the scope for people, but I believe it's not. I believe that scope aiming and normal play are actually usually linked, and most people have it uninverted.
Well, that's great for most people, but my brain...
But you're with me, you want inverted for that.
my brain just could not wrap. Every time I went to go up, you instinctively press down, and of course you go down. And every time you want to go down, you instinctively press up, and you go up.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm the same way,
I was like almost screaming at my console, going, "Why won't you work? You know what I mean." Like every argument I've ever had, it doesn't matter what I say, you know what I meant.
Yeah.
And it was driving me absolutely crazy. So anyway, after about 10 attempts, I finally got this mission done. I was like, yes, thank you so much. But so that was pretty much...
And that was just shooting one pit target with the sniper, right?
No, that was shooting... you have... Basically what happens is 8-ball will run as you're killing off the enemies, as you're taking them down.
Is this like a cover mission where he's... So it's sort of like
you're
an escort, but / cover.
Yeah,
right.
So basically you have to time yourself that you're killing these people off as well as he's running up.
Is he under attack? Is he escaping from prison?
No, if if you listen,
Sorry.
we're trying to blow up a boat.
So
I
he's
just
sneaking in,
yes.
and you're covering him. Right, I
Yes.
remember this mission now.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So he's like getting shot at, and
Mhm.
if you forget at one point that there's somebody that you've not killed off, you have to go all the way back. But it's so frustrating when you're trying to get it right onto the actual enemy, because the controls are so, like, I don't know how else to, like, janky. They just, like, don't work properly. You have to make sure that you're zoomed into to the exact degree, and it was driving me crazy. Because it was,
I think that word that you used is normally used for buggy or bad. I think what you're talking about would be jerky. They lack a bit of smooth motion
Yes.
and smooth zoom. They're
Yeah.
very
yeah.
It's instead of zooming in slowly, it's like going from a 2 times to a 4 times to an 8
No,
times.
it wasn't a zoom out. It was just the left and right.
Oh, the left and right. So yeah, it sort of jumps across.
Yes.
Right. Okay, I've got
Yeah.
you.
So
I think that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Jerky, not janky. I think janky's an American word for
Can you
buggy.
not just let me continue my story? They know what I mean.
I don't necessarily think they do, because you're using Americanisms for a possibly Scottish audience.
I'm shaking my head at you.
I can see that.
Well, that's why I verbally said it. So people would not know what I'm doing. So anyway, getting back to the game.
Verbally said it.
Please second. Again, you know what I mean.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
So getting back to the game. So anyway, that was done. And then I've now managed to go to Staten Island. I believe that's how you pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
And got to go on a boat ride. And if I thought the scope was bad, the boat is disastrous. Because
You driving it?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's mooring it up is a nightmare, because you have to make sure that you are completely aware of what you're doing, and if you do a slight tap off the side of the dock, you just go bouncing off, and then you're like trying to realign yourself again perfectly, and then to get on and off the boat, you kind of have to like jump off the boat
Because you can't swim.
Yeah. And I know that because I tried that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just watched my life just go down. Just
Your life bubbles away
Yes.
to nothing.
So now I'm working for another mob boss. I can't remember his name. I can't even remember the last person's name. But something I've noticed that is I am now, like you said, learning to play the game.
Mm.
Because I had to go off and kill this other mob boss, the one I was working for before. Again, I really wish I could remember everybody's names, but I can't.
You killed the guy you were previously working for?
Yeah, you have to go and do that.
Tony?
No, it's because of an S. He's like the head of the family or something like that.
Salvatore? Something
Yeah,
like that?
yeah. And I thought what I had to do was just get in a car and just drive him over as he's leaving a club. But every time I tried to do that, I kept blowing up. So I thought, that's probably not right.
Yeah, I'd agree.
So I eventually realised, oh, there's a fire escape. Maybe if I climbed that with my rifle. And that's what I did.
So you sniped him?
Yeah, sniped him, and it was very easy. It's amazing how nobody actually goes after you take out the head of a mob.
So you shot this guy. Did you think that up, or did you look that up?
No, I thought of that.
So that's part of gameplay. That's where you've actually learned how to play a game and think, right, I can work this out for myself.
I needed to go to that location before for something.
Uh-huh.
To get a car or something like that. So I learned that. I was quite pleased with myself.
So that's the progress, because your previous port of call was to run people over when you had to kill them.
Yeah.
You tried this and it didn't work, so you thought, right, this isn't working. Let's think of something that, I can go up there and shoot him.
Yeah.
That's a big part of just thinking through the mechanics of a game, because it's different from reading a book or watching TV, because you're deciding what to do, whereas in that situation.
Yeah, because I am actually starting to enjoy it to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there's moments in it which is just completely random. Like I thought, I'm just going to go steal that van. And then all of a sudden, I'm controlling an RC racing car. And I'm going, why am I controlling a racing car?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I was trying to like back up out of, like, I don't know what it was, a mini mission or something like that. And I kept trying to press every single button, trying to stop controlling this. And I couldn't.
Was there not a self-destruct button for the RC
I don't know,
car?
but I was just like literally just running around, and eventually just kept blowing up every now and again, and I was able to get out of the van after I used up so many little cars. But I was just like, why is this happening?
I know they're not in 4. I don't think they're in San Andreas But I do think they might be in Vice City where there's just vans and you can get in them and it starts a side mission where you just get paid for blowing up people's cars.
Yeah, I didn't know that you could do that. I didn't
just
know that
stay
was a thing.
clear. I never did those. There's no real need. I'd stay clear.
Literally the only reason I went into that van was to steal it and drive it off, and I couldn't do that.
Well, you should have been able to drive the van once you blew up the RC cars.
I don't know, but I was like, I'm not getting back
risking
in.
it. I'm
not getting out. And there was one part where I was on Staten Island where I was driving, and I accidentally launched myself off one of the I don't know, platforms or something like that. There was like a platform, a gap, and then another platform, like just I don't know, different part of the harbour or something like that. Anyway, so I launched myself off, and then all of a sudden it goes to a dramatic cinematic side view, and I'm going in slow motion, and I'm thinking, I'm gonna make this, and then all you can see is the other side, and then you just watch as my car slowly goes not onto that side of the platform, but just to the side of it, and slightly roll.
Yeah.
And dive into the, and I don't even see it dive into the water, I just literally see it dive behind this platform, and I'm just like, what was the point of the cinematic version? I was just like looking at it, so confused, and I couldn't stop laughing afterwards.
Well, I think you're still in control of the car during that.
Yeah, but I didn't know I was in control of the car.
Yeah, so you were just looking at it going, what is this?
I just thought it was so pointless being in a cinematic slow-mo. Just
They don't slow-mo it for
it
5.
It was for me.
Well, for 5.
Right.
But if you press B, I think it is, on the Xbox One, you enter cinematic view while you're driving. So you get a camera from the side.
You can do that in GTA 3 because there's a button where you could choose, and I did try first person perspective where I'm looking out at the actual windscreen. But you said it was more fun. Never doing that again.
No, not in GTA 3 because your cars are far too delicate. The first time that you ever got first person was the first time I ever... Proper first person was the first time I ever really used it. Yeah. I was always third person even in the car because it's just designed that way.
But it was just so... It threw me through a loop because it completely... Because I was so used to actually looking at the car and aiming it that way, and then to be actually... for lack of a better word, in an actual car, like I have sometimes in my own car, but it was just very weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it, especially until you got to about maybe 4.
Yeah.
Because the cars are too delicate.
Oh my goodness, yeah, it's literally you hit a lamppost and you just like crunch.
Yeah, that's a change they made between 3 and Vice City, and I think maybe a small increase again for San Andreas was how delicate the cars were. So
anyway, that's pretty much my roundup. I'm starting to enjoy it to a certain degree. Like I said, at the moment I'm stuck on a mission which is driving a little bit bonkers.
What mission?
It's actually called Grand Theft Auto, the mission, where I'm having to steal 3 specific cars for this new mob boss.
Oh, this is the one with the gigantic arrows pointing down at the cars? Yeah. I remember that. I remember in Vice City, I was supposed to kill a woman who was driving a car, and you pull up behind her and there's a gigantic pink arrow pointing down at her, and you're already behind her and you're sitting looking at it. That's a bit overkill, I don't really need that. Or can I shoot the arrow out the sky so it falls on her or something? I mean, it was huge, this massive arrow, bigger than the buildings.
So apart from having no actual icon on the map for getting guns, there was a map on the mini-map for a gun shop until I actually visited it, and then it disappeared again on Staten Island. So that not constantly being there, and also the hospital having no icon, or the police station, is very annoying. I still find that really, really annoying. In fact, I'm spending I don't know how long trying to find this hospital. Yeah,
that's improvements that never get undone later on.
Darn it.
You can... No, you can, in later games you can find them much easier.
I thought you said that it's not improvements that they make with later games.
It's improvements that they never undone.
What?
They make that improvement so you can find it and they never take it away.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think you can always find the gun shop.
Yeah. So, I have no idea how far into the game I am.
You could look that up, but you'd run the risk of spoiling it for yourself. So
the only time I ever look up walkthroughs if I've had to redo a level mission, more than 6 or 7 times.
And then you're like, I'm not getting this. What do I do?
Yeah.
Okay. When it comes to the boat ride driving,
captaining.
I
had to go shoot off another boat. That was when I had to chase a boat and shoot it. That was fairly easy.
Shoot it? How did you shoot? Did you shoot
I had
it?
cannons
You had cannons?
on the boat, yeah.
Just forward-facing machine guns?
Yeah, something like that.
That's a bit easier. I've been trying to do some boat shooting in GTA 5 and it's a bit silly. Because if you are driving the boat and then press to get out the boat, it'll throw you into the water.
Do you not have cannons on your boats in GTA 5 then?
Not really. No.
Nah.
Not just driving around for a random
Well, this one
mission,
I think
no.
was a police boat.
I don't think they get police boats very much. I don't know. I don't think I've seen a police boat. I think they're more likely to send a helicopter after you. I think police boats are a bit
Passe.
au fait, in the past now. It's a couple of missions in GTA Online where they're marked as one player, but you've got to do them in a boat, and I'm just sitting there bouncing around, shooting, skipping between shooting the water and shooting the sky, just like this isn't right.
This one was fairly easy after one or two times you actually doing it. Is that okay? The guy's going in a pattern. You're just literally waiting for him to cross you.
Like I say, that doesn't really happen. They start shooting back in GTA 5 and you just get absolutely pegged and you're dead, and that's it. You can't defend yourself properly. Because they lock on for the shooting for GTA 5 when you're in a boat or you're in a car. You can't lock on shooting into a car or shooting out of one.
Yeah.
And I understand that perfectly for shooting out of a car because you're driving it, but I don't understand it at all for shooting in. I just think that's a bit... If the car is moving so fast you can't do it, fair enough, but if the car is moving quite slowly or is stationary, you should be okay to shoot in. I don't understand why the people in the passenger seats of the boat or the car can only use the same weapons that the driver can use, yet they have two hands free, so could use an assault rifle. But fair enough, you can't fire a bazooka because the backdraft would damage the insides of the car and probably kill everybody in it.
Fair enough, you couldn't use a bazooka, but
you should be able to lean out the window and use an assault rifle.
Right, okay.
If you've got two hands free,
so you're looking into a more logical
Exactly.
logical game
I don't
than
understand why in this passenger seat the passenger is restricted to a pistol or an Uzi or something when they could easily use a two-handed weapon.
Yeah.
That's just silly to me.
That's also something else I'm learning how to use. So not just go for the same weapon over and over again. It's using different weapons for different things, like blowing up cars with bombs, like grenades and things like that.
Yes, that becomes bigger in 4.
Right.
No, San Andreas. Because San Andreas had skill levels.
Which one's San Andreas?
It's the one after Vice City.
Right, okay.
It has skill levels, so you get more and more skillful using each weapon type. So you use the weapons to become more skillful, so that later on in the game you've got better shooting for whatever weapon you happen to have.
Yeah.
And my problem with that was that they took it out in 4.
Alright.
The idea being that your character... I think the idea was that your character is a professional soldier, so shouldn't be getting any better.
Right.
But they could still have made you able to improve his driving skill or his strength or his fitness. It shouldn't have been a simple... He don't know why they took it out. And then they brought a smaller version of that back in for 5.
Yeah.
Which works very, very well. And they need to work on... I like the lung capacity idea, but it's only ever improved by holding your breath underwater, and that is not how you improve your lung capacity. You could easily improve lung capacity by doing some cardio. Or sitting doing breathing exercises. So they need to work on that one, but the rest of it's quite good. Like you improve your driving skill and your flying skill and that sort of thing. But with the boating, in the previous one, you'll notice that boats you'll turn the wheel and then you'll have to wait because the rudder or the engines move, and that causes it to spin from the back. So it's a bit of a different, with the car turns as you turn the wheel, but with a boat there's a bit of lag.
Yeah, no, yeah, that is, I don't like using the boat. Like it just...
Aye.
This is sort of the docking more than anything else.
The boats became bearable for 4 and 5, but they were really, really difficult. Actually, no, the boats were okay for San Andreas. But I remember playing Vice City, and there was one mission where you had to do a couple of races in the boats, and it's just turn, now I go.
Yeah, I've not done any of the races. I've tried the races in cars, and...
You have to do some of them for later on games. You might have to do one for the game you're playing.
Right.
A car race.
We shall see.
But you should be better by then. You should be okay. Cause I think
you should.
You should.
You should.
I think that's better. I think that's later on in the game, very close to the end, actually.
Okay. Well, that's pretty much all I've got to say for GTA 3.
Yeah, it sounds like you've really improved your overall gameplay, but also your understanding of GTA itself, where you've gone, right, what do I do? I can't fall back on my favourite run him over. What do I do? And it's just thinking through the logic of it. Oh, there's a fire escape. I'll snipe him. That doesn't make any sense. There's a huge jump, but it means you've understood the game.
Yeah.
Because that's not a jump if you're thinking about GTA.
Right, okay.
You know, if you saw a fire escape in real life and thought, I could snipe someone from there, that's a jump. But in GTA, if you're out
That's a worrying sign.
Exactly. But if you're out to actually assassinate someone in GTA and you've said, I can't run him over, fire escape, that never fails you. You can always, if you can run up the fire escape, then you can probably snipe your target in all GTA games.
Righto.
So you've done very well.
Thank you very much. So what have you been up to?
I have been playing 2 games.
Raising the bar this week, are we?
GTA V Online, as I might have mentioned there. So I'll go over what I've been doing quickly on that. And the other one is Dirt 3, which I've continued to play. We'll start with GTA V Online. I've just been playing a couple of online missions with my brother over the past few days. And we previously might have mentioned that we were stuck on the Humane Labs raid mission where this is GTA V Online, where you have to steal a Hydra. It's actually a bit of a throwback mission because you have to sneak on board a aircraft carrier with a crew of people and steal a Hydra, which is a jet, a jump jet aircraft, vertical takeoff jet. And the other 3 have to take the other jets in the game, which are not vertical takeoff, and cover the person who has stolen the Hydra as they try and escape with it. Yeah. And it's a bit of a throwback mission, it's got a bit of nostalgia to it, because in San Andreas online? No, that's not right. In GTA San Andreas, definitely not online, you have to sneak on board an aircraft carrier and steal a jump jet, a Hydra jump jet, the exact same type of jet. That game was set in 1992.
All right.
And you have to steal a jump jet, and it's the same mission. You drive up to a beach, you then get on a boat, go across to an aircraft carrier, get on board, kill some soldiers, steal a jet and go away. But this time you have to do it with some people, because and we got stuck on that. Because every single time my brother would get in the Hydra, because he was great flying the Hydra, I'd get in a covering jet, which I wasn't particularly good at. There's one thing I could do though, which is fly between him and the others, so they couldn't really lock onto him, or just get them following me and then try and fly between buildings. Yeah. And
I love it when you find it like in game hacks. Like, it's not a real hack, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, like if
cheating the system a
little bit.
Not
cheating it, but if you can't shoot them, well, what else can I do? I'll try and run them into buildings. Yeah. The problem is that the Hydra is much slower than the jets that the other 3 people in the crew steal. But then the jets that attack are much faster than those jets again. So the players are all slower than the bad guys. But that means that if you don't stay with the Hydra, which is the target, then you're left in the middle of nowhere with the Hydra completely surrounded. And the problem we've been having is not keeping the Hydra alive, because Brian's a great pilot, and eventually we all catch up. Whoever, it's me and him and then 2 randomers, and we all catch up and shoot them all down. Yeah. I usually do quite well at that. And then what happens is he has to land his aircraft in a hangar.
Oh, I remember you saying this.
And every time he's just about to pull in, one of the other guys we're flying with decides to beam his aircraft off a mountain. And so just as he's pulling in and we're waiting for the dun dun to tell us the mission's done, all you hear is damn it. And that happened about 9 times, but we tried it again the other day, a few days ago. And we did finally get there, but one of the problems that I was having was it took us a few attempts. Yeah. And the first time round, I stayed with Brian to try and cover him, but my lock-on wasn't working. I had a bug for some reason, it glitched, and I had selected the only weapon you use in the jet, as far as I'm concerned, the lock-on missiles.
Yeah.
and they weren't locking on properly. No matter how close I was to the target, they weren't locking on.
Mm-hmm.
And the minimap said I was like this close to them, but they just weren't appearing.
When you say this close, how close do you think? Like about?
They were on the minimap.
Yeah.
I should have been able to see them basically.
Right. Okay.
And something wasn't working. So I thought maybe they're above me or below me, but I couldn't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw something above me. I think it was one of the other people in my team. So I flew up to that. Still couldn't see anything. So it somehow bugged all the enemies out of my game, so I couldn't see them.
Oh wow, that's helpful.
So that was, but it doesn't matter. The other two guys took them down. Brian flew to the hangar, and just as he's pulling in, the other guys beam their planes off the mountains again.
Yeah.
So we have another go at it. This time I'm able to see them, but they're moving so fast. Brian has like 15 jets following him, and he's in a really slow Hydra, and he's just pulling from side to side, side to side, where I can't do anything. And he's got these guys flying around, so he flies them in a circle because we're trying to catch up. And he flies them in a circle so that we're just approaching the circle as it turns towards us, and then we start laying into them, shooting 3 or 4 of them down. I only got like 2 because I just wasn't getting lock-ons. They were there this time, I just couldn't get a lock-on, but they had like 6 behind me. So then I just did what Brian had been doing. I just flew in a circle around all the buildings.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my attempt was, if I can't shoot you down, maybe you'll beam yourself into a skyscraper and kill yourself, and that'll be fine. But it didn't work. But it did give the other 2 guys in my crew an opportunity to shoot down the planes.
Yeah.
And stopped Brian from being shot at because they decided to look at me, which I don't think they're supposed to do, but it worked out well. Brian flew off, and that time when he landed, the other guys didn't beam themselves into mountains, so we got the mission done.
Yeah.
So we were
well
really,
done the
really
other
happy
guys
about
for
that.
not.
They did most of the killing, but they normally accompanied that by killing themselves as well. But that was a lot of fun to finally get that done, and I am happy to say that I did try once where I flew the Hydra and Brian took one of the other jets.
Yeah.
But we got a bit angry at it because I got hit, but I didn't go down. My plane was still flying fine, but it got all angry at me and said the Hydra has been destroyed. But what was really annoying was I was still flying the Hydra when it said that. So the Hydra was still flying. You could see it on my screen still flying.
Yeah.
Everybody else in the crew could see it still flying, and it says the Hydra has been destroyed. Like I was on fire, don't get me wrong, but I'm a pretty good pilot. I could have landed that. Just give me a chance to land it. Even if I have to land and then just drive it along the road, I'll do it. Just don't take the opportunity away from me if it can still be done. But we finished that mission and we moved on to the next mission, which was to steal a helicopter gunship.
Yeah. And
the first time round, we got it quite well. The pilot, co-pilot with a grenade launcher, and me and Brian took the 2 minigun positions either side. And then you get attacked by other helicopters and you've got to shoot them down. Mm-hmm. It's like 3 waves of 4.
Yeah.
But the guy wasn't really helping me and Brian because he was trying to set up all the shots for the grenade launcher person in the side seat. So we couldn't aim at anything. So I'm flapping my hands around a bit strangely while talking to Abigail. We were shooting straight out from the sides and our cones of vision don't wrap around to what's happening at the front. So he was lining up, the pilot was lining up all, I say he because the character was a he, was lining up all the shots for the female, co-pilot, the main passenger, who had a grenade launcher, but the grenade launcher seems to only fire in a short distance. So he was hovering right in front of the bad guys with this grenade launcher, and me and Brian basically unable to shoot because either the thing is miles away or he's not looking at it.
Yes.
From what we need. And so it wasn't working. Eventually we got blown up because he's even when we were able to shoot, he was rocketing from side to side, making the angles nearly impossible because he's trying to get the passenger, his co-pilot, to have a better shot, so he's not helping us. Anyway, we got shot down.
How inconsiderate.
Extremely inconsiderate. We were very angry to the point where I took the pilot's seat and Brian took the co-pilot's seat for the next run. And then we had a small bit of a snag with who. For some reason, the grenade launcher didn't work that time. Brian could not, for the life of him, I can hear him, he's in the next room to me, smashing every button on his controller, trying to get it to fire, and it won't. So I'm setting up the two gunners for the shots instead of Brian, because he can't get these shots off. We can't even see how the gun works, because you can't see it properly from your position as a gunner.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't see it, we couldn't see it from the position of pilot and co-pilot, because it wasn't working. So he's furiously trying to get it to work. And I said, Brian, have you pressed every button? There was only one button I've not pressed. And I'm busy lining up the shots for the minigun guys while I'm trying to get him at work. So he says, only one button I've not pressed. So I said, right, well, press it then. He's like, okay. And he smashes the button. And then I turn around to look to see what he's doing. And his character's thrown himself out the door because it was the enter exit vehicle button. And he thought, well, maybe nothing else is working. And he throws himself out the vehicle. And I'm just looking at this door that's just shutting behind him, just like...
Well, nothing else is working. Dum.
Okay. And I said, Brian, did you just press Y and throw yourself out the vehicle? Well, nothing else was working, I thought I'd try. Anyway, he activates his parachute and lands on the roof of a building, one of the skyscrapers, right? Because while we were trying to work this out, I've been trying to drag the helicopters behind us, smashing some of them off the skyscrapers. I think I got one, maybe two, the first wave hitting a skyscraper.
Yeah.
So that kind of worked. And then I lined us up for the minigun pilots on either side. I'm doing the hand gestures again that are making you laugh. I could be in like...
it was like you were doing a little dance.
Cabaret or burlesque or like Chicago or something, like high kicking. I'm lining up the miniguns to shoot at these guys, and it's working really, really well because I'm able to keep them at a distance.
Yeah.
As long as I hold it level, the gunners can shoot from further than the bad guys can, even though the bad guys have lock-on missiles. They're not firing from very far away.
Yes.
So it's working really well. And then I'm hearing Brian's like, oh, I'm on a roof, because he had a parachute. So he's landed on a roof. And then a little while later, I say to him straight away, is there any way you could join in some of the shooting? He's like, yeah, I'm doing that. I'm like, excellent. So I'm staying roughly where he is so that he can join in some shootings. I don't know what weapons he's got. And the guys are minigunning and I'm spinning in circles trying to get a good minigun position. I think a couple of times I got in behind the helicopter so they couldn't shoot back, and then got a good minigun shot by quickly doing a 90-degree turn. I think I did really, really well. But halfway through the fight, all I heard from Brian was, oh my god! Ah! And he's had to throw himself out the way of a rocket that was fired at him from one of the helicopters, which is pretty difficult to do because he's stuck on a roof with no parachute because he's just used it to land on the roof. And apparently he landed just on the edge of the building. Oh. So he's, oh my god, oh my god! And so he says to me, can you draw some of the fire because I'm sniping the pilots and they're coming after me. So I'm having to use the precious cargo we're trying to protect to draw fire from him, because if he dies, it's mission over.
Yeah.
Absolute mayhem.
Just imagine this little launch out the back.
That was the funniest bit, where I turned to the side and he's just throwing himself out the vehicle. That was hilarious. But
so you're enjoying it then, it sounds like.
Well, yeah, because we got that mission done, moved on to the next one, and the next one is you sneak a vehicle into the humane labs, which you're going to raid in the following mission. You've got to park the vehicle in because it's got an EMP that will go off.
Right. Taking
out the security. But you've got to sneak it in. And unfortunately that means you've got to take out guards with suppressed weaponry. And unfortunately we ended up with a teammate who just... This is a woman, right? Last time it was a man who made the mistake. This is a woman. So thankfully everything's going quite nicely when it comes to equality, because this woman was definitely making a mistake with it. I think she set off the alarms, which you're not supposed to do, about 12 times. The number of times she had to take about 4 shots to put someone down was ridiculous. Eventually we got to it, but this is what really angered me about it, right? She wasn't fixing the situation. She wasn't doing anything differently. She wasn't thinking, well, maybe I'll let somebody else take these shots.
She's just repeating the same thing.
She's just repeating it over and over again. Even there was one time we actually did it, and it was just one mistake where a scientist set off the alarm. Because for some silly reason the scientists don't have to press an alarm, they just have to see a dead body and they automatically set off some sort of neuro alarm. And That's fake, by the way. That was just me being angry at the games. That doesn't make any sense that the scientists just magically set off an alarm. But what really got to me was that we did it once right, nearly right, just that one person had to die, and then she did change something. When it was working, she changed something. And then eventually, after about take 12, she's ruined all the previous takes. She quits. So the mission gets scrubbed because you need 4 people and you can't hot drop somebody in during the mission.
Yeah.
Why? Why is she doing that? It's almost like she was trolling a lot of us, just not doing it properly.
Maybe
and
she
then
was.
quitting.
Maybe that's
But
what it was.
GTA has a huge problem with people trying to get enough people together to do heists. It's something we've really struggled with. We had to wait 10 minutes to get that crew together just to try that. This person was ranked 200 and then she just starts going firing everywhere and getting the alarms. She got the alarm set off once because she took 4 shots at the very first gate guard. The very first gate guard, she took 4 shots and missed them all. The gate guard's literally a straight piece of road, heavily lit up area the person's standing in. You're not that far away, like 50 to 75 metres. She's like, pew, 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 with a sniper rifle. She'd been close to shooting the moon. It's ridiculous. I had to sneak a car in and I was quieter than her. Absolute mayhem, I'm telling you. It was that aggravating, you know. But I genuinely don't see why you need 4 people for this, because you can have a driver and a shooter. Me and Brian could have done that by ourselves.
Maybe it's just to create a more social aspect in the game, I don't know.
Well, it doesn't work, because I feel like we're getting to a point where it's going to be pure luck sees us able to finish these, or we're going to have to get more people in that we actually know, because it's not working with randomness.
Well, then it looks like you're just going to have to do that then.
Because you'll just get stuck for about 8 games in a row with somebody that's just going to beam their plane into a mountain. You know, the epitome of, we're just coming into land, bang, all right, do it again. And that's the epitome of the problem that
I suppose that's the risk you take whenever you play any online multiplayer
Yes,
game.
but that's the risk that GTA takes and any other game takes when it demands a certain number of players that it can't defend the demand for.
So do you think the player that set
You
there
could
should be allowed to set how many people are going to be involved in a mission or...
No, it does it fine in other times where it gives you a variance.
Yeah.
Where it says you can have 2 to 4.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, do you want more of more?
I think there are some missions where you have to have 4 people. There are others where you just don't.
That's what I'm saying is, because it sounds like what you're saying is there's no option but to play this mission with 4
there is.
people.
You have to have 4.
So what I'm saying is, would you prefer it if this variant was involved in more missions than just...
In the heist missions,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think they go the other way with some of the actual side missions where you could easily... They've got it marked as 1 player. There's no way you can do that with only 1.
Okay, so you think that
But
somebody
the heist missions are the other way. They're set for 4 when you just sometimes don't need that.
So somebody needs to organise it a little bit better when they're...
Well, I think the whole idea is you need 4 for the last part of it. That's fine. And you want... Maybe the idea is you bring a crew through the whole thing. But if you set it to 2 to 4 players, that would still work.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yes, no, I'm not saying that to you. I'm saying that to them. I don't understand why they've said you need to have all 4. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm not saying cut some to 2 and others to 4. That's just not going to work. You know, that's fair enough if they don't think that's a good way of doing it. But 2 to 4 allows you to keep a team the whole way through. And if you want to make it harder or just different by having only 2 people, then go ahead. So I have been having an awful lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
With Brian, playing a game of golf. But I have to say that while GTA Online is a lot of fun playing with Brian, even sometimes by myself, the heist missions, it's a great concept. They've just, and it is 5 years old. You've got to remember that. There are a lot of big, just stupid mistakes. I always go back to this. There's a sort of completionist element to it, where the fact that it ticks missions you've done, and it's got a sort of one of the options in the menu is for you to see the weapons that you've bought and all the attachments, but you cannot control properly what weapons you have so there's no armory basically.
Right.
That's why I think there should be an armory. You buy a house, but they haven't put an armory in it. So you could buy all the weapons in the game and then just say, right, well, I don't need 6 pistols. I'll leave these 5 behind. I don't need 4 assault rifles. I'll put these ones back. You can't. You start, every time you load the game up, you start with all your weapons in your inventory, but you're never going to pull half them out. So you're always sitting there thinking, is it worth me buying that gun? Well, if there's a completionist element to it, you've just made that element have a downside. That's silly. There shouldn't be a downside to being a completionist beyond you've had to put a lot of hours into the game. Or the fact that some of the missions, races, all that sort of stuff, they get ticked if you've done them.
Yes.
But it's a green tick, even if you've only tried it. Even if you fail, it still green ticks it. It should be a red tick if you tried it and failed. It's just this sort of lack of polish on it almost, yet they've had years to fix that. Maybe it's because it's such an old game they can't.
Quite possibly.
Maybe there's just no way they could change something like that. Maybe it's too inherent in the game. But if they make a GTA 6 and have an online play, they need to fix that stuff. You know, they've started putting in an awful lot of new ways of making money in the game and stuff like that, because that was a big problem. You had to really grind to make enough money.
Yeah.
But that's become less of an issue. Also, I have to say I'm not entirely sure what you were doing with all that money. It's like 4 million to become a CEO, and then I'm not really sure what happens after that, but I think you do make a bit more money, but then all you're doing is buying random cars. I don't really know what the point is. You know, I think you could do with a bit of customization for your house, to be honest. That might be cool if you could buy a plot of land and then just do up a huge house.
The Sims.
Well, not quite like that, but something, you know, just something to make it. I think what would be really cool, and I don't know if they'd ever do it, because they've got some of this sort of elements are in here. If you could buy a plot of land and build like a bat cave and then just start crime fighting, so you could go out on GTA Online and take down other players, and that would be like you could be a crime fighter. There would be a way that you could take down other players who were currently being chased by the police. That could be quite interesting. But it would be a way of spending your money that would feel quite cool, I think.
Yeah.
But they just, I don't know. Maybe they can't do that sort of thing, but that would really get my attention if they did that. But we'll come to GTA 5 later on, because there's some news on that as well. Several pieces of news actually. GTA 5 very popular today.
Yes, it is.
I've also been playing Dirt 3, like I said before.
I completely forgot you'd even said that. I talked about GTA 5 for so long.
That's the bit where you're like, oh, GTA 5, I'll get to this eventually in like 200 years' time. What's going on? Dirt 3, I actually stopped playing for a while and installed it.
Oh, wow.
Because I remember I was telling you about that drift stuff now. I was just going to move past it.
Yeah, because you couldn't drift, wasn't it? And it was driving you crazy.
It was driving me absolutely, because the game just doesn't have the rumble triggers. They give you feedback when you're about to lose traction, which is really crucial for driving in a simulation game, because this isn't completely simulation. If you're trying to do a drift, having that sort of, I'm just about to lose it, and it comes to the traction, that's really important, and you just can't tell. You really can't tell when the car's about to go and when it's not. And so you're doing what you think is the same thing you did before, and suddenly you're not drifting at all, or you're in a spin. You don't have enough feedback, and the game's not precise enough for you to do what it's asking. You're reliant on luck, and I really don't like that.
Yeah, I think that if you're playing something, it should be your skill, it shouldn't be luck that you're relying on. When
you feel like the game has just made it artificially difficult with some numbers, and then you're reliant on luck, that really gets to me. I don't like that.
Yes. No, I completely understand that.
I don't mind something like Dark Souls, which is difficult by design, but I don't like it when it just...
If I were to play Dark Souls, I think I'd...
you've got some really bad...
Yeah.
Let's say temperature controls...
Sabrina, Twitch and Time brought out the worst in me.
For your brain. You really don't like it when things get like that.
No.
But, GTA 3 was winding you up, but I think that's just because you...
Because I've not played proper games.
Yeah. But you're getting there.
I have played proper games. No, I have, but it's not... It's been a long time.
Not like that.
Not
and
like
it's been
that.
a long time.
Yeah, mostly the ones I've played are like kiddie games, not...
Well, I wouldn't even call the first Harry Potter a kiddie game. If you sit me down, I'd play that.
Yeah, but it's... certain aspects
But
are.
it's not anywhere near the same
No,
mechanics. The
no.
mechanics are different, so you're
it's
having
much
to
more
learn those.
simplistic than
Well, it's not
GTA
even just
2.
more difficult, it's just completely different mechanics. You're
Yeah.
learning completely different mechanics for that. So
You're
that's,
not learning spells.
yeah. But for me, this has just artificially been made... it's made harder by the fact you need so much luck, and that's just silly.
Okay.
But I finished it when it came to that first set of Gymkhana stuff. That finished that first pyramid of because the game is split into 4 pyramids of competitions. So it's a pyramid, which when you 4 of them, and when you click on one, it opens up into 4 triangles.
Yeah.
Which you then are different competitions with so many races in them, like 6 or 8, I think.
Right.
And you do those, and that was quite fun. But then once you finish the first one, the next thing that you have is, once you've finished all the tournaments, you have the free roam Gymkhana. And that loads you into the Gymkhana arena, where you're just free roaming around doing these secret missions where you've got to find these hidden things and do donuts and do this, that, and the next thing, and you're sitting there thinking, why? Pointless. But it seemed to be forcing me into that, and so it's suddenly gone from being a rally game to a skateboarding game with a car. I didn't have a clue what was going on. I just thought, I'm not happy about this at all. I uninstalled it, but I thought I'm probably missing something. So I reinstalled it and had another look, and it turns out, yeah, it was just that when you click on the last the thing,
Yes.
it forces you to do that because you've just unlocked it and it's showing you it, but you don't actually have to do those. You can then go on to the next triangle of tournaments, or pyramid, which then becomes 4 triangles. So I then did that, and I've just been finishing those, and then whenever it comes to a Gymkhana thing, I'm just either doing it to move on to the next thing, or I am skipping it if I can entirely. I'm just not even looking at those, because I think the game is not technically good enough to try and ask you to do what it is and you having any fun doing it, and it doesn't feel like a challenge. If it feels like a challenge, I'll keep doing it to win. If it feels like I'm totally reliant on luck, I stop and move to the next thing, because for me that's just pointless.
Yes.
It doesn't signify anything if you complete it, other than you tried until someone handed it to you. I don't see the challenge, and there's no real challenge there. You could do it once, be lucky and get it, or you could do it 1,000 times, be unlucky and not. No point, and move on.
Yeah.
So I've just been doing the races, and I'm having a lot of fun with just doing the races, to be honest. That's where its strength
it's good
lies.
you're getting enjoyment out of the game, it's not...
Well,
you're having fun with some aspects of it.
Yeah, I also had a wee look at a game that's been installed on my Xbox for a while, Motocross Madness, which is a backpack game that was for the 360. And it's similar in that it's a motocross game.
Yeah.
So you're on a bike, and it also has a free roam. So once you do a certain number of actual races in which you drive around these races and you pick up massive gold coins, that gives you money. You do jumps, which gives you do a trick during the jump,
yes,
and that gives you experience points. It also gives you boost, and you can then boost around the racetrack a bit faster. It's a bit Mario Kart-ish, but without the weaponry.
That's what it's sounding like.
Without the weaponry, it's a bit Mario Kart-ish. And you finish first and you do tricks, and that gives you experience points and gold and all the rest of it. And that's a lot of fun. But then you go into this exploration where it's all the racetracks from that area, and you can just drive around in it, and you pick up coins, and that's the whole point of it. But that feels more like it makes sense because there's jumps and things like that.
Right.
Actual jumps, and you've got to go and find these coins, but they're huge, and it's a lot of fun. The Gymkhana stuff just doesn't work properly in Dirt, so you're not having fun doing it. You're like, oh, I really wish that could have been so cool, but then I clipped this thing. Why did I clip this thing? No idea, because I had no feedback, because it was too young a game to try what it was trying. It didn't have it didn't relay the information to you properly, so you couldn't do it. But it really, really gets to me when the games do that, so I'm just going to be strategic, and I know I hate quitting things, but I'm just going to be strategic.
Yeah, just let it go.
And just move through Dirt. I race a day, same with motocross, have a bit of fun with it, but not focus on it too much, and then just get rid of it once I've done the actual races, because the races are reasonably enjoyable. It's just a Gymkhana really lets it down and changes it into something else entirely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to keep sticking with that, but
Well, that's good.
I don't think there's anything else left to say, so I'll have a different game for next week, I think.
Cool, yeah.
So you do have some news to talk about, though?
I do. So, I don't know if anybody's heard about this, but Roblox, is that how you pronounce it?
I would have said Roblox, but Roblox is probably fine.
Has been hacked. And basically what's happened is, without going into too much detail, a young girl who's about 7 years old was playing it on her mother's iPad, and her avatar was then engaged in an adult situation with the 2 other avatars, and her mother noticed this. Now, basically what they're saying is that Roblox have...
what is Roblox? It's a sort of Minecraft
game. You can create your own... what was it now?
Environment?
Yeah, you can create your own environment and your own avatar and things like that. It's similar to Minecraft.
And it's for kids.
It's for kids, and it's supposed to be has all these different prevention methods for anybody. You can't say certain things, you can't do certain things. There is no possibility to have a completely, example, naked avatar.
In other words, the game is policed to make sure it's censored properly for kids.
So basically what they believe is somebody's hacked and added a code into the game somehow, and this has happened.
So what was able to happen was that people were able to... I don't entirely know how to phrase this. They were able to...
create an adult situation, that's what I would say.
That's a good way of putting it. I'm not entirely sure that was an adult situation in which the little girl, obviously, her character was
the aim of the said adult situation, shall we say.
Yeah, and there was no... well, obviously it's a game in which you're not supposed to be able to do this, so it was...
Yeah. Don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah.
So basically that's what's happened is, and also Roblox have also have apologised and said, this shouldn't happen, but at the same time, if a complete third party decides to act upon their I can't think of the word.
I would say sick.
Yeah. Sick ideas, sick designs to do this. I personally don't believe that a games company should shoulder the entire responsibility if they've tried to put in as many prevention methods as possible, but someone's been able to get through that.
What do you mean by prevention methods? Because I'm pretty sure that phrase is incorrect for what you're trying to say.
I don't know. But
safeguards is probably what you're looking for. Yeah. Okay. Safeguards.
I don't always use the right words for certain things.
But that's what I'm here for. Make sure if safeguards.
What was that fishing motion you made at me? It's like
just reel it all back in and then figure out what it is you mean.
Yeah.
You do the same when I end up going off on a tangent.
Well, apparently earlier this year in January there was a school down in England that was sending letters home to parents saying, don't let your kids play this because there's been messages from strangers, very inappropriate comments that they're making. I don't know if it must have a live chat or a messaging board or something like that. But
it might have a messaging board, but every game would have live chat.
So people were just saying...
you could have an Xbox or PlayStation party that was chatting, so it would have a function.
Yeah, so basically people were just saying, just watch out. But at the same time, I think it's a bit unfair the fact that this game has been taking so much hit, because this has happened, I think, with other games. It's been happening since day dot with any kind of games. If a child's involved, and what they're saying now is everybody needs to monitor their kids when they're on iPads or on their
but you had to do that anyway.
Yeah, I remember when I was, about 10 or 11, if I wanted to go on our ancient computer back then, which I think at that point was far older than me, sit with your kid and go on the internet. And my mum once did that with me. She sat next to me while I went online to research, tigers for a school project or something like that. But
I'm trying to think. See, it's a bit different for us because we only got a computer we got our first computer when I was about 12, because Dad decided, right, that now's the time, the kids are heading to secondary school, there'll be a lot of computer necessary things.
Yeah.
So we'll get that done. And he got me a game with it. It was Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast.
Right.
So that's most of my computing experience starts with games. Or watching DVDs on it, because we didn't have a DVD player. But we only got the internet when I was about 13 or 14. So by that point, my parents were fine with me just using it.
Yeah.
There was no need for somebody to be sitting behind me.
I think that because now with, I don't know, maybe I don't know what it is with iPads and phones, well, not just iPads, but tablets in general and
Mhm.
phones. People seem to be even more vigilant now. I don't know if it's because kids have been able to memorize their parents' credit card details. But
No, but when it comes to this Roblox
yeah, sorry,
situation,
there, yeah.
I have to say that what I was trying to say was that it's a different scenario because we didn't have the internet when I was a kid. I don't have any personal stories about
No,
parents.
we didn't have internet games either, if I remember correctly.
No, I didn't have the internet at all.
Yeah.
So I don't have any, but I would have to say that it would be normal for you, a 7-year-old girl, be normal for you to be keeping an eye on what she's doing online.
Of course.
And this game looks like it's ostensibly fine for kids. It's a really good way for them to have fun and to learn and to just have some fun.
That's what they're saying, is that if this happens with a game and parents present for it, it teaches the kids how to handle that kind of situation if they come across this.
Yeah, I would have to say that in defence of the creators of the game, I don't see how it's their fault. If they've got the appropriate safeguards, it sounds like they've got very rigorous safeguards. If somebody hacks in, well, that would be like, I mean, a lot of people blame banks whenever anybody hacks a bank because, frankly, bank safeguards aren't good enough. So that's a perfectly legitimate reason for blaming a bank. But if you've got a door on your house and an alarm system and somebody robs you, it's not your fault.
No.
You know, even if you leave the door open, somebody could say, well, you should have locked the door. But that doesn't mean it's your fault because somebody's broken in. So it's the same here. As long as, I know it's different from the house scenario because they've got other people's kids buying their product. That means they've got a certain due diligence and care to make sure the kids are as protected as possible. But once they've put in as many safeguards as they can, they've done their job. If somebody hacks in, that's a different crime. It's
like when you used to hear this sort of harks back to when I was little, and certain toys and things like that would come out, and then some kid somewhere hurt themselves with that toy. Now it's the toy company's fault, even though that child did something with that toy no one else would humanly think of possibly doing.
Well, it depends. If they shoved a small piece somewhere, that's probably the toy company should have thought about.
That's the kind of thing I mean.
Well, the toy company shouldn't be supplying toys with tiny pieces because kids are going to eat them. That's going to happen. But one for me where I get upset is the McLaren buggy?
I don't remember.
The McLaren, the buggy, it might be Mercedes,
Is this a real buggy in real life?
Yeah, like a little push buggy
like
for
kids. A stroller,
yeah.
If you don't know what a buggy is.
And they were collapsing. They were folding in when they weren't supposed to and cutting off fingers of children. Now that is a disaster. That's a huge design flaw. Yeah. That's your fault. But if you attach a tiny little toy to a toy gun to an Action Man, a kid's going to eat that.
Yeah, but then you're under, well, who should that child have had that toy in the first place?
Well, that's why you put on 3+, 7+.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So then that responsibility falls on somebody else entirely.
Mm-hmm. Unless the toy is poisonous, in which case it goes back on the company.
Yes, but we're going to further down the rabbit hole here.
No, but this is the whole point. Is it how to blame our Roblox for somebody hacking into their game?
I don't think they are.
I don't think they are if they took all precautions.
Yeah.
If they didn't, then yes, they are. Because while they've been hacked, they are caring, they have a duty of care to somebody else. So if they don't look after themselves properly, they're then abandoning their duty of care.
This probably is not going to be the last time it gets hacked. This is not the last time that a game will get hacked.
Yeah.
It's going to happen because hackers are getting better and better with each year as technology progresses, so does their skill. Because they're constantly adapting and learning to how people are safeguarding things.
So it's more of a cultural thing. You need more people to have more respect. Because even if you're a hacker and you hack a game and put something in so you can cheat, or you put something in for fun, that's different from doing what they did, which was like a sex crime, basically. Yeah. That's different. So maybe this sort of thing is more of a cultural issue than a computer safety issue.
Because you have people out there that think it's a laugh. I'm doing it, it's funny, and they don't think of the repercussions because of it. So anyway, shall we go on to something a little bit lighter now that we've talked about all this kind of stuff?
Yeah, that heavy stuff.
Yes. So on to a lighter bit of news. There is going to be a live action Halo series next year.
Based on?
Halo.
I don't know what part of Halo.
I don't know, it just said Halo live action series. Right, okay.
So
I didn't say exact, but I didn't
did it
really
mention
go into
any
details.
characters?
It's not really got into many details because I think they've just sort of announced it, and they're like within the last few weeks they've announced it.
Okay, when's it coming out?
Next year. So it has a release date of 2019. So I believe it'll probably come out in the autumn next year. So that's normally when they release their newer shows. It's going to be in America, but I think they're going to probably bring it out over here as well. Probably maybe Netflix or something like that.
Well, it might actually just come out on the Halo channel. Or with one of the games.
I don't know because the people that are Rupert Wyatt is going to be spearheading it, and
Producer or director or
he's heading the project,
right,
and he is the director of Rise of the Planet of the Apes,
mm-hmm.
which bodes well for any big Halo fans because that was a massive film. It was very popular. So and also it's going to be made by Showtime. And if you recognise that name, it is because it has produced hits like Dexter, Billions, and one of my favourite series of all time, Stargate SG-1.
Yes. Okay, that bodes well. It's got good sci-fi.
I was just leaving that a little bit, yeah. So I think Stargate ran for about 10 years or so.
Aye.
And again, it was a brilliant sci-fi show. It was one of my... I won't say too much about the last couple series, but apart from that...
You didn't like the last couple of series?
I didn't really... no.
I really liked Claudia Black.
Oh, I love
Ben
her.
Browder.
I love her, but I thought the story went a bit weird.
With the Ori.
Yeah. I thought that was a bit too out there. But this isn't a TV review show. This is a game review show.
I actually kind of liked that. I liked they stepped it up. It wasn't just people pretending to be gods, it was actual gods. I liked that. I sort of liked that idea.
Yeah, I suppose.
I just say that's a logical next step.
I know, but I prefer the replicators. Thank you, replicators. And I preferred the.
I really. I have to agree with you though. If they were going to cancel anything, I don't know why they also cancelled Atlantis.
Now this is where we're going to differ. I didn't like Atlantis. I liked. What was it?
Universe.
Are
you serious?
Yes.
So wait a minute, basically what you got was Stargate SG-1, how you doing, a little bit of comedy, how you doing, but then serious talk sometimes. You had Atlantis, which was, how you doing, a little bit of comedy, how you doing, serious talk sometimes. And then you had Stargate, Universe. How would you put this? I think you'd probably put it Stargate Train Spotting, with just like Begbie in the corner, just absolutely jonesing every 5 minutes, like, kill them all!
I wanted to know what happened. I was so upset that they cancelled it.
I was unhappy that they started it.
Don't be hating.
I did like episode 4 though, I think it was, where they flew into a sun. I thought that was really cool. But that was it. I really wanted to see what happened with the Wraith. Because we don't know. Because, see, here's the thing. I read the screenplay, right? The story for the opening video. Sorry, the opening 2-parter episodes for Series 6 of Atlantis, and it's incredible. I was so angry they didn't make it. Because they wrote it so that it could be made as a film, or it could be made as a series in 6 starter episodes, and they never did either with it, and
Maybe they'll bring it back one day.
I don't think they can.
Live in hope.
I think Joe Flanagan's just too old now. He'd need to get himself into some serious shape, and I don't mean a round one, compared with what he is at the minute.
Okay.
But yeah.
So anyway, so how are you excited? Are you looking forward to it?
They've made Halo stuff before, like they made some animated movies and stuff, which I kind of liked.
Yeah, but this is going to be live action.
Well, they've made a live action television series before as well,
that.
with the guy who was in Luke Cage.
Oh, what's his name?
Oh, I can look it up.
I've not actually seen Luke Cage. I've seen Jessica Jones.
Mike
Love
Colter.
Jessica Jones. Yeah. I love Jessica Jones. I tried to watch an episode of Luke Cage and I wasn't all that interested.
Okay.
I also seen Iron Fist. And
I'm the other way around.
You don't.
I think Luke Cage is in Daredevil. I think I've heard bad things about the other two, and I'm a wee bit reticent, a bit reluctant about doing things which involve female lead characters because I think they just. I just think
if you're not going to watch it for Jessica Jones, watch it for David Tennant. Right? Watch it for him.
They made a movie actually, Forward Unto Dawn. I forgot about that, which was a live action movie. No, I just get a bit annoyed about female lead characters based in America because they always become feminist icons. It's all about, I'm a woman, I'm going to do whatever I want, and it's always a case of...
She's got a dark past.
Yeah, but that's the point. They always have the woman. I'm going to do it. I'm independent. I'm fierce. I'm powerful. I'm strong.
But she's not a likeable character.
Right. Okay.
Sorry, you're getting angry at me because I'm not finishing your sentence.
I'm getting angry at you because you're not finishing my sentence for me. Okay. I don't want to watch Jessica Jones. Go.
Because you don't like television shows in America where the females are too feministic, or what's the word I'm trying to think of? Too much of a feminist.
Too much of a feminist. No, I don't like shows, and based in America especially, where they put in women and it's all girl power, feminism, women power, all the rest of that, because they always end up writing a bad character. They always end up relying so heavily on the fact that you're not allowed to hate the character because then you're a misogynist, that they end up writing a really bad character.
Well, can I be honest? I don't actually like the character of Jessica Jones. I find her quite irritating.
Yes!
But I find the show interesting, and I understand why she's like that, which makes me like the show. If you understand what I mean?
No, I get it.
Yeah, I like the show as a whole. She has got so many flaws, but she's a very dark past, but it's not like I'm going to prove the world I'm tougher than that. I'm tougher than that, but I'm going to bring myself down to the lowest of the low levels kind of thing. She's not a likable character. She's a drunk, she's angry, she hates everybody.
Right, so that's basically, that's a rubbish character.
It's a good character, but it's...
badly done then, because it sounds very stereotypical.
It's like an anti-hero type of thing.
Yeah, but it sounds very stereotypical anti-hero.
Yeah, but...
They've done that
I
before,
like her. I like it.
Is there lots of... This is one thing I didn't like about Luke Cage. It's the one thing I don't like about modern stuff, if I'm being honest, is they're relying on it too heavily. Maybe it's my video game background, but there's loads of adult stuff in it. Not violence. Violence is fine, but...
There isn't a lot.
I just don't like it. I don't think it's necessary.
There's hardly any, though. That's what I'm saying. There's maybe 4 scenes out of the entire series, if that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, I don't see the need for it. You can suggest that, you don't have to put it in. I don't think it adds anything.
There's reasons for it.
No, that's fine, but you can have it in the story, but I don't understand why they need to show it. That's just my point, is that I don't see what's added, and it's not a case of liberation, it's not a case of why would we cover this up. It's more of a case of you're going out your way to show it. Right? It's not like the actors were going to be doing that anyway, and then you've covered them up.
It's not integral to the storyline. They're doing it for the sake of doing it.
They're doing it because they think that doing it gets them extra views, and that just annoys me. Just rely on your story and your acting. You don't need to put that in.
Okay. Well, maybe Haley,
Maybe Haley, the Halo heroine,
will not have that.
No, it shouldn't. If it can suggest it all it wants. See, if it's about a Spartan and a Spartan is out there, then no.
So, shall we move on?
We shall.
So, this I found out. Yeah.
This is the next story.
Yeah. I found it really interesting. So basically, there is a Professor Joseph. I think his last name is pronounced Delappe. Delappe. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Delappe. Just go with Delappe. That's fine.
He is a professor at Abertay University,
which is a university in Dundee in Scotland. Yes,
but he's originally from America. He grew up in America. He has developed a hack for GTA V, and it's a live stream on Twitch, right? Mm-hmm. Now, this
at the moment, is it constantly live, or is it just when he plays it?
No, it's constantly live. It's just it's like, I don't know if it's just a live stream hack. I don't think you are actually able to play it. I think it's just something. I'll get into what it actually is. It's not a
mod. It's just a live stream where he's hacked his copy.
Yes.
Right.
I believe that's what it is. And so this game is filled with, as you would have many games in NPCs, non-playable characters, which I learned what that was this week. And basically, if you go into a live stream, you're just watching NPCs gun each other down.
For his particular live stream.
For this particular live stream, yes. Right. on Twitch.
Mhm.
That's all that happens.
So he's hacked the game so the NPCs shoot at each other
Yes.
rather than
Now,
just wandering around.
You think to yourself, that's incredibly violent. Why do you find that interesting? I'll tell you why I find it interesting. It's because he's hooked this up to represent the amount of people that have died from the result of a gun in America since the beginning of
Gun
2018.
violence, or does that include gun suicide?
People who have had their lives taken by a gun.
So suicide as well.
I don't know if it's counting suicide. I don't know
Because
that.
I
I don't know if that's specific. I don't know that specific detail. But so what happens is he's hooked this up to be representative of that. This game will reset at midnight, and the next day more NPCs die as the gun.
So is it the
goes
number
up.
that were killed each day, or is it the number that has been killed,
Since
far?
far.
So if it's 100 in the first day and 100 in the second, the first day's stream will show 100, the second will show 200,
yes.
so it becomes...
And it's basically, he's using GTA V to highlight gun crime in America. He's not blaming GTA V, he's using it as
a mechanism.
They
always,
to represent it.
because you always get somebody like... the first congressional district of Texas was represented by... I can't remember his name now. He was bald. And he blamed GTA 5 for a series of shootings.
Those people will blame... Sorry, yes.
But this one's particularly stupid because he blamed them for the shootings before the game was released. The shootings occurred before the game was released. It was then released. He then used it as a way of blaming it.
Yeah.
This person could not have been inspired by it at all.
It's madness because...
So that's specifically why he's used that. And I think it's brilliant that he's currently based in Abertay because Dundee is where the game was originally invented.
Yes. And also, just say that in the first 6... And it's from the beginning of 2018. And in the first 6 months of 2018... 7,165 people were killed as a result of a gun.
That's not including suicide.
I don't know if that is including suicide.
See, I don't think it is, because the number for people who were killed in gun-related deaths, I think it was in 2015, was 34,000. The number who were killed was something like 14.
Yeah.
So homicides was gun deaths
we'll
related.
We're going to assume it's not a result of a suicide.
Or an accident. It's
accident.
deliberate.
This is deliberate
homicide.
Yes.
Right, I just think that number's too low to include accidents and suicides.
Well, basically, the only reason that I think he came over to Scotland was because he got a job at Abertay, but he says that I think he feels a lot safer now living in Scotland than he ever did in America.
Mm.
But I'm not going to lie, when I saw this as a headline, I was like, okay, who's now going to be blaming another GTA or shooter game on gun violence in America? And then I was very pleasantly surprised to actually find out that's not what this is. This is something completely different. This is a guy who has gone out of his, well, not so much gone out of his way, but has decided he's going to do this to represent what's actually going on in America. And it's a great way to bring it into the public eye.
People do specifically ban GTA for the... blame it for this sort of stuff.
That's what I was going to say. It's interesting using a game which is what people say about it, that it's going to increase something to represent something that's actually going on in terms of gun violence.
Yeah, I find that quite... That man gets a round of applause.
Thank you.
That man gets a round of applause.
I thought you said that argument gets a round of applause for me.
Applaud the man? Jeez. It's no applause for you, so you're just not taking part.
Finding that out.
Okay, well done. Because I hadn't heard of that.
Thank you. So I actually look on actual websites for news.
It's still talking about GTA 5 is it has a new online expansion called After Hours, which relates to the Ballad of Gay Tony, which was an expansion for GTA 4, which was the only good thing in GTA 4 as far as I'm concerned. So I'm really excited for this because it looks like it might have some actual story in it, possibly. Could be good. It's basically you run an underground nightclub and it's a way for you to make money but also launder money, they were mentioning. So it'd be interesting to see how that works. I'm looking forward to this because as I said, the Ballad of Gay Tony, that expansion was fantastic in GTA 4, which frankly for me was just a rubbish game. It made a really bad game really fun, so I'm kind of looking forward to what they can do with something like GTA 5.
Yeah.
But then again, it could just be they've used his name and just added in a random generic thing. But we'll see. I heard reasonably good things about Doomsday, so this could be good too.
So after all of that,
all that's left for me to do is say thank you to our tech wizard, with no gap this time, Abigail Mowat.
Thank you, and all I have to say is thank you to Thomas Anderson for chairing this, as he always does.
So magnificently.
So dramatically.
Dramatically.
I really wish you could see what he was doing.
And for us to ask you, please, if you enjoyed this video, to please like and subscribe below, and to watch any other videos that we have on YouTube.
We'd much appreciate it.
We have an extensive library of 4
videos.
5 including this one.
Are you
and to
including
follow,
the intro?
Yeah, and to follow us on Facebook at OverShadow.ShadowCast. And if you have any questions for us, you can email us at overshadow.shadowcast@gmail.com.
Or you can leave a message in the comments for us, a question.
Leave a message in the comments as well.
Some nice ones.
Or
you can leave a not so nice one if you want.
yeah, just freedom of speech. Have at it.
Do whatever you want.
And we'll try and respond to as many as we can.
We hope you enjoyed listening, folks.
And we'll see you next time. See ya.
Bye.